We knew what we had to do, but we didn't have enough men to do it. Because we were supposed to get down to Kokoda and set up a camp there, but the Japs got there first.
Australian and Papuan forces spread from Kokoda down towards the beaches of Buna and Gona. Papuan troops first contact the Japanese. After a series of brief engagements, the Papuan soldiers pull back to the banks of the Wairopi River crossing, where they meet the lead elements of the 39th Militia Battalion.
We had our weapons spread along the riverbank, but completely undercover. One Jap scout got up on the bridge and he had a look around. Then another one got up after him, so there were two there and they were having a bit of a chat, I suppose, and what are we going to do next? And then a third one got up. The temptation was obviously too great for one of the Lewis gunners, so he opened up. So then everybody did. And then it was on for young and old. It was pretty obvious that we were going to get surrounded and cut off once they found a place to cross the river. So we then moved back. We set up an ambush and try and hold them at Oivy. And when we got to Oivy, Doug McLean arrived. They'd flown over in two DC-3s.
About 12 of us, we just swooped straight down and landed at Kokoda. It was only a grass strip. We knew what was cooking. Sam Templeton with his B company, they were into action, and McLean says, well, this is it, like we're not practicing, we're feeding them. He says, this is it. You know, it was just like playing in a footy match in the grand final and that, and we didn't know what we was going to run into.
The Australians are quickly outflanked and surrounded by the Japanese, a tactic the Japanese will employ regularly along the track. The officer in command of Australian forces, Captain Sam Templeton, is soon down to 50 men.
Doug McLean's half lieutenant arrived there, and Sam was concerned that the other half might run into Japs and not be aware of it. So very foolishly, he just walked back there on his own, and that's when we heard shots.
They don't know what happened to Sam, whether they captured him or what happened. They never ever found out.
Must have shot him first, because I don't think he'd have been taken prisoner easily.
Affectionately known as Uncle Sam, Captain Sam Templeton was a professional and dedicated soldier. His disappearance is one of the enduring mysteries of the Kokoda Campaign.
Sam Templeton was also a First World War officer. After the First World War, he went to other countries and served as mercenaries and things like that. He had a colourful story, Sam. Everybody
liked him, you know. A lot of them thought he was a very quiet man, which he was, but when he told you something, you did it. He was that sort of bloke.
After a series of skirmishes, the Japanese decide to make a stand at Templeton's Crossing, named after the Australian 39th Company commander, Captain Sam Templeton, who disappeared during the early stages of the campaign 4 months earlier. In Australian circles, his disappearance was a great mystery, but to many Japanese soldiers, his fate was well known.
Templeton 隊っていう方はもう最初オーエン・スタンレーを行った時途中で傷ついて倒れていた。自分は医者、軍人であると同時に医者であると自分の手元へ連れてきて見てやったっていうんですね。でこれで大丈夫だからということでいろいろ話をしたら自分はテンプルトンとおっしゃったって。
オーストラリア軍の兵力とか人事の状態を 聞こうと思ったんですね。ところがもう全然答えずに我々は後方に8万の兵隊がいると。そこへ1万人足らずの兵隊が攻め込んで何人果たして行き着くか見ものだ。あーっと笑ったそうです。それで改めに来た大隊長がお腹にその軍と突き刺したそうです。